as Jesus is sending out his disciples, we notice that he says not to take anything with them. Why? That they are to rely totally and explicitly and constantly on God for all their needs, for taking care of them, for being the one who's moving in people's hearts. Note that it's not they who will change hearts, but it is God. They are merely the instruments that God uses. And when God is calling us to go out, a lot of times we can say, well, I'm not smart enough. I don't know the faith well enough. How am I supposed to do this? And the Lord says, and that's why I called you, because you are not enough. And so when anyone happens to come back to my heart, you'll know it had absolutely nothing to do with you. You were merely an instrument. I've seen this so many times. We had one woman in my last parish, God bless her. She lived in one of those communities, where, it's all over 55 or whatever it is. And she was constantly saying, you should come back to church. You should come back to church. Many people looked down on her, but there were some. I was like, she would drag them. They would come. Here's the bulletin. Oh, you need to meet Father Vaughn. Oh, here's a medal or whatever, a miraculous medal or whatever she'd give to people. And they just came. And some of the people were just like, oh, get away from me. But there were people that came back. Just because, number one, she had built a relationship with them, and number two, she invited. And I've seen that here too with some people, that drawing people back. The Lord is saying, it's not about you having the right words. It's about you getting out of my way and saying yes when I ask you to. And do we ask the Lord, use me to draw people to you? Lord, help me today to be part of that. Like yesterday, I was at Market Basket. That's a very faithful place, right? But I was at Market Basket in the line, and even though I was in civvies, I wasn't dressed as a priest, I try to be very pleasant to the people who are working there, because it's a hard job having to, scan people and people being upset all the time and stuff. So I try to be pleasant. How are you doing today? And all this stuff. And I didn't even try to do this. It's one of these things that just came out of my mouth, God bless, as I was leaving. It's kind of a, standard thing that just comes out. I said, well, have a good day, God bless. And the bagger just looked at me and said, thank you, and God bless you. Thank you. It was just one of these things, I think it made her day. But these little things, these little interactions, and for maybe someone who else was in line heard that, and that was thing number 87 out of 126 that God needed to use them to draw them back. We don't know, because we'll only know in heaven those little touches that we have with people that finally will draw them back to his heart. But it's not about us saying, okay, well, I need to see results. But it's about us saying, God, use me. In my weakness, my brokenness, I don't know. If people ask me, well, what about this going on or that going on? It's just I don't know. I don't know what the right words are. But God says, that's not important. I want you to be one of those who are drawing people in. Yesterday, if you read the gospel, he says to go out to the lost sheep and to make this proclamation, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. We don't have to get it all right. We just have to say, God is here. One of these things, being a priest, pretty easy when people come with problems. I don't have to have the answer, because the answer is Jesus. You say, oh, what's your problem? Oh, Jesus is the answer. Well, how do I deal with it? Jesus is the answer. Oh, well, Jesus is the answer. It's like when I do the preparation for those who are entering the church, I says, I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions, and you have to answer them. But don't worry, the answer is I do. You renounce Satan. I do. The answer is always I do. So it's pretty easy. The answer is always Jesus. So we turn to the Lord today and ask him that we may be his witnesses, that we may be instruments that he uses to touch people, to draw them to his heart. That even when we don't see results, that we can say, God, use me. Use me in all my weakness and all my brokenness. Use me so that people may come to know you.